Hello, this is Neil at Recyke Bike and Biker. This is the middle of the back-end workshop where we refurbish all our bikes that we put into the shop. I say refurbished because that's what we like to call them. They are bikes that have been through a full checking system and they have had any parts that they require replaced. We have a build checklist that all our mechanics and volunteers follow. This is quite a basic list. It doesn't document everything, otherwise it would be 3 or 4 pages long. But there are 24 points in here that cover the whole bike. From the very basics at the top, where we initially check that the bike is actually safe to use and roadworthy and has a life. We check things like seat pins unseized, we check that pedals can come out, it's got the old style coil stem, we check that they can be freed off and rotated. We check everything. We check wheels, we check that they are true, we check spoke tension, we check wheel bearings, we check tyre treads, we also check the sidewalls to make sure they're not split, we check the headset bearings, we check the bottom bracket, we check the pedals, we do all the same checks on the back wheel, we check the chain, we check the cassette, we check the chain rings, the derailleurs, all the cables, everything is detailed on this checklist. So we book them in, each bike gets an individual number. This is a brand new donation on Saturday, so this hasn't been booked in yet. We clean them, we check the wheels, we check the rim wear, if they've got rim brakes, spoke tensions, we check the cones, we check the axles, we check the tyres and the tubes, we check the bottom bracket bearings, cranks, chain, set of freewheel, brake pads, brake disc pads, gears, in and out of cables, brakes, in and out of cables. We then check that the saddle's clean, we don't like grip saddles, we check handlebar grips, the adjustment of the headset bearings, and the straightness of the stem. All in all, a very comprehensive process for refurbishing a bike. So really, any part that a bike needs, and these are generally what we will fit to a bike. So, tubes, handlebar grips, brake blocks, lots of cables, bottom brackets, cassettes, freewheels, chains, even chain sets. We have a massive stock of new parts. We also have a massive stock, don't know if you can see it on the camera, of second-hand parts that we take off some of the bikes that we get donated. Some bikes are worked on and they don't need much work. This particular bike had everything checked and everything adjusted and everything was okay. It's been double checked by one of our mechanics before it goes into the shop. And really the only new part this bike had were new handlebar grips. This bike, different story. This bike, I can see at least 4 different names on there. That bike's been worked on quite a lot over a course of a few days by different volunteers before being signed off. Just to give you an example, this bike has had new pedals. It's had new air tubes, it's had new bottom brackets, it's had a new chain set, it's had a new freewheel, it's had new brake pads, it's had new inner and outer brake cables, it's had new inner and outer gear cables, it's had new grips. Have I missed anything? Oh, it's also had a replacement set of second-hand suspension forks for our stock of second-hand parts. So that bike there is now in the shop, ready to be sold, fully refurbished. So that's the difference we see in our refurbished bikes to a normal second-hand bike. every bike that we sell in Recyke Bike has been through this process. It's donated, it's triaged, it's put through the system, it's worked on by one of between 40 and 50 different volunteers. It's thoroughly refurbished, all the parts that it needs are replaced. It then goes through a double check by a very skilled, trained and experienced mechanic, and then it goes through into the shop and some kind of customer comes in and buys it. So that is essentially a refurbished bike from Recyke Bike. Thank you.